I got my PE license very early. It allowed me, established me as a professional in the industry. We have a very robust program for continuing education, tuition reimbursement. But part of that program is to provide financial support to young engineers who want to pursue a PE, and we encourage them to go after their PE license.
In this episode of Pass the PE Exam, I have a CEO of an engineering firm with me, and he is going to give you an analogy to show you why getting your PE license in your career is actually fundamental to growing your career. He's also going to give an example of how one of his employees got his license and then was able to just embark upon a huge opportunity within his firm. This episode of Pass the PE Exam is brought to you by PPI Kaplan, a leader in engineering exam prep for the FE and PE exams since 1975. PPI provides expert prep courses and study resources designed to help you pass the PE exam the first time. PPI's live online courses include hours of lectures, problem-solving demonstrations, exam strategy sessions, office hours, and a passing guarantee. When you take a live online course, PPI guarantees you will pass, or you can take the on-demand course for free. With study guides, practice exams, and more, the PPI Learning Hub offers digital practice and review that you can take with you anywhere you have a device so that you can prepare during the times most convenient for you. Check out PPI today at ppi2pass.com to see all the options available for PE exam prep. Let's dive in. All right, so I'm happy to have with me Don Klein. Don is a licensed professional engineer. He's president and founder at Klein Engineering and Consulting. And a lot of times on our Pass the PE Exam channel here, we're talking about people that recently passed the exam, or we're giving you tips about passing the exam. But today I wanted to talk to Don from the perspective of the employer or the organization that's supporting the PE license. So first of all, Don, welcome to Pass the PE Exam. You are a licensed professional here. Just maybe start off by telling us how the engineering license has helped you grow in your career.
Thank you, Anthony. It's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, I got my PE license very early. As soon as I was eligible to take the PE exam, I took it, and I just felt like it allowed me, established me as a professional in the industry, and that's like the minimum thing that you have to achieve in order to be recognized as a professional in structural engineering. And so it was, it's basically the kind of the floor of where you need to be, and then there's a lot more to learn after that. But obviously, once I achieved my PE license, that I was able to practice on my own and start my own business, and so it's really launched my career.
Yeah, and I think the way that Don frames it is a good way to think about it. A lot of our listeners are in the civil structural engineering world, and in that world, the PE license is almost like a baseline, if you will. It's almost like, I like to call it like, that's like your invitation to the dinner, right? And then like where you go from there is very much related to what steps you take next. But without that, it's very difficult to grow in your career as an engineer. So it's great that Don was able to do that early on in his career. And it's obviously been instrumental in him starting and growing his business, which has been successful. And so, Don, I wanted to talk to you on the flip side a little bit now in terms of from the employer point of view. You're growing a company, you're hiring talented engineers or helping to grow these professionals. I know one of the core values of your company is knowledge. So talk about your perspective or how you support, encourage the engineering professionals that work for your firm to go and get their PE license.
Yeah, we're so focused on our mission, vision, and core values. And like you said, one of our core values is knowledge. And we have a very robust program for continuing education, tuition reimbursement, training. We encourage everyone to take advantage of this and gain as much knowledge as they can. We encourage people to gain knowledge and also give back and teach in the industry as well. But part of that program is to provide financial support to young engineers who want to pursue a PE, and we encourage them to go after their PE license as soon as they can. And we reimburse for basically all their expenses, whether it's if they have to go out and buy books, if they have to take a training program, enroll in a training program for the PE licensure exam, and of course also for the application fee as well. So we provide that support to them, and it's a great tool. They love that, and that's part of that's one of the things that we kind of advertise when we're recruiting. And so it's a great thing for our recruiting program as well.
Yeah, and one thing that I'll say is, if you are an engineer and you're watching this because you want to get your license, it's something that you can ask prospective employers about, right? When you go to an interview, they're asking you questions. You can ask them questions. How do you support licensure? And first of all, do they philosophically support it? Like, some firms will be talking about it and much more out in the open about it and encouraging and pushing their engineers to get it, which I think is important. Some take more of a backseat approach. And then secondly, to Don's point, are they willing to support you financially? Because it is a costly endeavor. I mean, if you want to take a review course, if you want to purchase books, you got to sign up for the exam. But at the same time, I will say that you also need to come to the table, and then you got to do the work. You got to put the study time in. You're still going to be working in your job. So you're going to have to, I know for me, I would wake up early in the mornings before work, and I would try to study an hour or so before the day started. So it's kind of a two-way street, but if you can find that organization that's willing to support you, that's probably a good judge of how they're going to be long-term in terms of supporting your development and supporting your career growth. If there's someone that encourages your license and someone that is willing to support you financially. And I would imagine too, Don, that getting the PE license will open up a lot of doors for someone in their career in terms of what they're capable of doing for their organizations.
Oh, absolutely. I have stories of individuals here who have just their career has taken off once they got their PE license. One person joined our company as a draftsman, early in his career. And the reason was because he was an immigrant and he had a degree from overseas, but he really persevered and worked hard and got his PE license. Had to take a few classes, but eventually got his PE license here. Once he did that, he became such a tremendous engineer for us that he started a branch in a different state, a new branch for our company in a different state. So he's running his own office now. That's just one example. So it's just so critical, and it can really launch your career. And like you said, it's really the baseline, and it's almost like you have to get that if you want to grow in civil engineering.
Yeah, for sure. And a couple last things that I'll say about it is, once you have that license, I mean, Don just gave a perfect example. That opportunity maybe of starting an office and building an office wouldn't have been available for that individual hadn't they not gone and got their license. So that's just shows you the doors it can open. But the other thing that I just want to say about it is, from time to time, I mean, I talk to a lot of CEOs, a lot of company leaders when we build our custom PM training programs, and I'll recognize someone in the firm that seems like a standout, and I'll even mention to the CEO, like, wow, this guy or gal looks like they're a great leader. And sometimes the response I get, they're really good, but they never got their license. Mm-hmm. And that saying that, what they mean is, like, there's almost like a cap on where they can go here because of that, right? And so the point being is that if you have the ability to get your license, meaning you've got the education, you've got the experience, you absolutely should do it. And the last thing I'll say is, a lot of engineers sometimes use the excuse of, well, I'm in construction, or I'm in this discipline and it's not really that important. I'm a chemical engineer, whatever the case may be. My response to that is, you have no idea where your career is going to go. You have no idea where you're going to end up. You have no idea if 20 years from now you want to start doing your own consulting or have your own business or practice. And so try to get your license at all costs. It's a professional license. You have it forever if you maintain it. No one can take it away from you, and it can open up a lot of doors. And I'm happy that Don was able to give us a few minutes here, Don, just to take us through your experiences with it. Thank you so much for spending some time with us here on Pass the PE Exam.
Thank you, Anthony. It's been a pleasure.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Pass the PE Exam. Please remember to subscribe to our channel here. We will put out videos on a weekly basis to help you pass the PE exam. We'd also like you to ask questions in the comments below. Maybe you have a specific question that you need an answer for. Maybe you have a problem you're trying to solve around the PE exam. Pass the PE exam will have you covered. I'll see you next week on Pass the PE Exam.